colleagues for giving me the opportunity to chair the board for a little bit. I'd like to thank Commissioner Bayless as well for his stead service as a chairman. I've got big shoes to fill on it, and I'm glad he's still here with his input, and also I'm glad that we put him a little bit more to the left for the time being. All right, so if we could get started, what's first on the agenda?
Okay. Commission will now take up the matter of applications for special one-day licenses to sell and dispense alcohol beverages. The first being for beer and wine only, or either one. Frank Osen Oko for Saturday, May 26th from 2007 from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. The event is a family party to take place at Girls Inc. at 220 Worthen Street. Michael J. Karagianis of the Transfiguration Church for Friday, June the 8th, 2007.
If you hear your name, could you just come to the podium, please? Come to the center podium. Thank you.
The Transfiguration Church for Michael Karagianis' representative for June 8th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., this being on a Friday evening, and also Saturday, June 9th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. The event is the Transfiguration Church Greek Food Fair to be held at the church located at Father John Sarantos Way. David Slattery for Saturday, June 16th, 2007 from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. The event is a birthday party at the parking lot of Molly Kay's Pub at 489 Middlesex Street. Richard Beauchesne for Saturday, June 23rd, 2007 from 9 a.m. to 12 midnight for an outdoor concession sponsored by the Lowell Firefighters Club at the intersection of Willie and Cross Streets at Fletcher Street. The event is coordinated in conjunction with the New England Regional Firefighters Challenge. Also, Richard Beauchesne has applied for Saturday, June 23rd from 9 a.m. to 12 midnight and Sunday, June 24th, 2007 from 11 a.m. to 12 midnight. This would be a concession, a beer concession at Lot A, which is adjacent to the Songus Arena. This also would be for the New England Regional Firefighters Challenge. Corey Belanger for Saturday, June 23rd, 2007 from 6 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. The event is the Firefighters Challenge. The concession will be within a fence-enclosed area in front of 34 Jackson Street. That's the Major's Pub address. Also, Corey Belanger for Saturday, June 30th, 2007 from 6 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. This event is the 80s Block Party. The concession also be in a fence-enclosed area in front of Major's Pub at 34 Jackson Street. Kermani Manny Lakumfang for Saturday, June 30th, 2007 from 12 noon to 8 p.m. and Sunday, July 1st, 2007 from 12 noon to 8 p.m. The event is a fundraiser to be held on the grounds of the Buddhist temple located at 45 Vernier Street. Corey Belanger also for Sunday, July 8th, 2007 from 12 noon to 10 p.m. The event is the Puerto Rican Cultural Festival. The concession is an enclosed area on French Street between John and Kirk Streets. Previously, Dolores Torres of the Lowell Cultural Puerto Rican Festival had applied and was granted such a license for the same event, and she is communicating to the License Commission that this beer concession has been subcontracted, and the subcontractor would be the individual Corey Belanger. Also, Diane Testa of the Revolving Museum for Saturday, July 14th, 2007 from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. The event is the Ukulele Noir to be held at the Revolving Museum at 22 Shattuck Street. Also, there are two applications for all alcoholic beverages. Alexander Janenko for Saturday, June 2nd, 2007 from 12 noon to 7 p.m. The event is a Hawaiian luau at the club grounds of the Polish American Veterans at 201 Coburn Street. And last is Thomas McKay, the Backstage Concessions, Inc. Jessica Banks is representative for Saturday, June 9th, 2007 from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The event is Friends of Shed Park fundraiser at the Shed Park Fieldhouse, Route 38, Rogers Street.
Okay, thank you. Could each of you just identify yourself for the record, please?
Excuse me.
Okay.
Mike Karagianis, Transfiguration Church.
David Slattery, Molly Case Pub.
Yeah, Franco Sarenko, Arrow Family.
Richard Beauchesne, Lowell Firefighters Club.
Alexander Janesco, the Polish American Veterans.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions concerning any event? Commissioner Bayless?
Corey, you're taking this is going to be a beer on the Puerto Rican festival. You're subcontracting the beer concession. I have no problem transferring the fee. I'm wondering, are you going to enclose an area on French Street and contain the beer drinking there?
Yes, Commissioner, most certainly. There's a confined area in front of the stage on the street, not on the grass. It's approximately 40 by 100. It's going to be canopy with all fencing around and one entrance and one exit. So it's a confined area, approximately 40 by 100.
Okay.
Where the beverages will not be able to exit out into the street. That's it.
Okay. You can't have beer, excuse me, I'm sorry. See, I moved from the chair, I forgot to turn on the mic. Imagine that. A few words, I'm concerned about the park service, okay? You know, the controlling alcohol, as you well know, in any given area, but to have it in the street or to have it, you know, and now you got the federal government because that park and we can really get, so, okay. Outside of that, does anybody, most of all of you have been here, the firefighters, that's gonna be outside?
Yes,
You gonna fence that area in, close it in?
we have sawhorses that we put up at both intersections.
I'm sorry?
We have sawhorses that we put up at both ends of the intersection.
At the intersections of the street?
The street, yes.
And how are you gonna control where the beer's gonna go? You gotta have a, you know, I mean, you can take the whole area that you're having the challenge or whatever, and then,
Well, there's two separate applications.
come up to the mic so everybody can hear you, I'm sorry.
Which venue are we talking about?
About the firefighters challenge. You've got a concession in the lot adjacent to the Songus Arena,
That
and then
lot
you've
will
got a concession at the intersection of Willie and Cross Street.
The first one at the arena is gonna be totally fenced in.
Okay,
The second one that's at the club at Willie Street is just the sawhorses that I was previously talking about.
it's just a what?
Sawhorses.
Sawhorses. How are you gonna control the beer drinking?
There'll be people there. People won't be able to exit. We'll have people there
Won't be able to exit the club or exit where the horses are?
where the horses are.
Okay.
It's the same type of situation that we have when we run the
The road race?
road race.
It is.
We have plenty of volunteers. They're all
Okay,
firefighters.
okay, that's what we need to know.
Yeah,
That
it's gotta
there's
keep
be
it in
some-
that area.
You know, you got holes there between the sawhorses and,
Have you guys done this before, the firefighters challenge?
No, this is the first
is the
time we've
first one?
hosted it.
Okay. All right.
okay.
Commissioner, any? Commissioner?
I have nothing.
Okay. I probably won't do as well a job as my predecessor has done, but understand that this is your license, okay? It's your responsibility. You are responsible for all that happens at your event, not the person that told you to come down and get the license, not the corporation or the organization that is using a license to raise money or anything like that. It's your responsibility individually. You've all read, and I assumed you've signed, and I assumed you've all read the regulations in accordance to Mass General laws. You've signed it. That's basically what it tells you what your responsibilities are, and you've got to adhere to those responsibilities, because if you don't, we'll be looking towards you as being the person responsible for anything that goes awry with that. So live up to your responsibility. We have confidence in you, and I'll entertain a motion from the board.
I'll make a motion to approve the licenses.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good luck.
I'll make a motion to transfer the fee on the Puerto Rican festival to credit Mr. Belanger.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor say yes.
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 Okay?
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck.
For any of you that have amplification permits, kindly stay back, please.
Want me to get you a copy?
Mr. Beauchesne, would you kindly stay for, you're all set, sir. Mr. Beauchesne, I need for you to stay.
Good.
Okay, the commission will now take up the matter of special events permits for amplified outdoor public entertainment. Chris Locapo of the Faley Corp. of Lowell doing business as The Courtyard for Sunday, June 3rd, 2007, from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a band with sound system at the outdoor patio in front of 280 Central Street, which is the business address for the courtyard. Also, Richard Beauchesne of the Lowell Firefighters Association for Saturday, June 23rd, 2007, from 10 a.m. to 12 midnight, and Sunday, June 24th, 2007, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., excuse me. The event is the New England Firefighters Challenge, scheduled to be held at Lot A, adjacent to the Songus Arena. A sound system will be set up for recorded and live music. Also, Corey Belanger of Major's Pub. He has 2 applications for permits for amplification of sound for 34 Jackson Street. The dates are Saturday, June 23rd and Saturday, June 30th. Both hours are 6 p.m. to 12 midnight. And last is Kamani Manny, the Temple Grounds at 45 Bernier Street for Saturday, June 30th and Sunday, July 1st, from 12 noon to 8 p.m. each date. The sound system for live music and band.
Thank you. Just identify yourself for the record, please.
I don't think you said.
Corey Belanger, Major's Pub.
Chris Agava from the courtyard.
Richard Beauchesne, Lowell Firefighters Club.
Can we just have the other individual here?
Joe Meany.
Must have left.
No.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Previously identified.
No, wait a minute now.
For the temple,
Just identify yourself, please.
what's that?
No, you gotta do, you wanna have a band there as well?
Yeah, they have the,
Okay, you need this part of it too, so hang out, all right?
Just put your name out for the record for
Yeah,
this one.
please identify yourselves for the record, please.
Kill Manny
From where?
from Lowell, Sanyalan.
Thank you.
Okay.
Understand now, everybody has neighbors. I see this, the latest one is here, is I think it's Mr. Belanger's at 12 midnight. Some of them have ended at 8, and there's a couple at 10 and a couple at 9, so they're really not late into the night. But understand that you have neighbors, and you have to do a sense of degree of reasonableness, and take into account that the city of Lowell has changed a little bit, and there are residential aspect to our downtown, and so I understand that, you understand that, and I just want you to be wary of that, and in terms of our license, just adhere to the times and the standards that we expect out of you. Commissioner?
I have no questions.
Commissioner Bayless?
Motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Wynn, do you want me to run by the thing in August now or later? The other ride we talked about in August, you want me to run that by now? I have the permit from Andy for the special event. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, the next item is a sidewalk stand permit. The person listed, Janet C. Pitzer of Wells Emporium at 175 Merrimack Street. She's requesting a permit for a number of dates, starting with June 14th, June 28th, July 12th, the 26th, the 28th, and the 29th of July, August 9th and the 23rd, and September 6th and September 20th, 2007. For purposes of the business that she's unable to staff the retail store, she's unable to appear this afternoon, but if need be, she will appear at the next scheduled meeting, which would be June the 14th. She has filed with her application a copy of her insurance policy that would ensure that the City of Lowell has liability coverage for the public way.
Is she here now?
No.
She's unable to make it.
Okay.
She's, because of her store, she has no one to cover the store in her absence.
Okay, she's been here before on several times, so I don't have a, she's been a downtown business person for a long time, so I don't have an issue with the license. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to grant the license.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Commission will now take up matter of public hearings. Commission will now open the hearing on the transfer of the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant license from Amigos Inc., doing business as Sangria's Mexican-American Cafe, Matthew Pellegrino is the president. To a corporation known as Sangrias, Inc., Michael J. Doyle, president. Premises is at 177, 179 Central Street. There being an unnumbered door on the west side of the building. There are 2 rooms for the restaurant. A sidewalk cafe is on the east side of the building. There's a kitchen area and a basement for storage. It is requested that Michael J. Doyle be approved as the manager of record for Sangrias, Inc. And Sangrias has applied for license for common victular, entertainment, and a licensed restaurant for live music, a disc jockey and jukebox, also application for automatic amusement device. The corporation Sangrias, Inc. is requesting that their shares of stock be pledged, as well as the inventory, that is the alcohol beverage stock, to the Lowell 5-cent Savings Bank.
Good afternoon. Could you identify yourself for the record, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Leonard Seamus. I'm an attorney, 45 Merrimack Street, Lowell. I represent the applicant, Sangrias, Inc., President and sole director, Michael J. Doyle.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on, Counselor.
Mr. Chairman, the applicant is in the process of attempting to purchase the present operation known as Sangrias Mexican-American Cafe. It's owned currently by a corporation known as Amigos, Inc. The sale, or the prospective sale, is subject to, among other things, the approval of the transfer of the licenses, as Mr. Wynn articulated to you a moment or so ago. Let me give you a brief background on Mr. Doyle, who is the principal in charge of both the corporation and the business as to be run. Mr. Doyle is from the area, born in Lowell, currently lives in Drake. He spent his life here in the area, has a bachelor's degree from UMass Lowell and a master's in management from Lesley College. He currently is the sole shareholder and thus the owner of another corporation, PubsNet, Inc., which organizes high-tech educational conferences, and he also works for a firm known as Sterling Commerce as its education manager. He manages its training centers in North and South America. He currently has 13 people who are under his direction at Sterling, which manages software for AT&T. With regard to the restaurant itself and his plans for the operation of it, the operation will remain the same with regard to the fare that is offered, but there are plans to expand it, at least in the sense of opening for breakfast. And Mr. Doyle plans to bring his management background and experience specifically to the sale and service of alcohol. He plans to introduce some strict guidelines for the employees, all of whom that are involved in the sale or service of alcohol will be thoroughly vetted. They will be obligated to adhere to his guidelines. If there's any deviation or any failure to comply with those guidelines, they will be terminated immediately. Mr. Doyle is also interested in working with the city. He has already had conversations with representatives of the Historical Commission with regard to altering the facade of the business itself to come into compliance with the Historical Commission's aesthetic vision for businesses in that area. And as far as your decision is concerned, I believe that under the 2 standards of the statute that the transferee be qualified and that the transfer would be in the interest of the public welfare. I believe Mr. Doyle qualifies based on both his education and employment experience. And I think also that the transfer will be in the public interest insofar as the business will continue to operate, hopefully expand, and will work with the city insofar as its vision for the downtown businesses are concerned.
Thank you, Counselor. In terms of a public hearing, I'm going to open it up to all those who wish to speak in favor of the petition. All those who wish to speak in favor of the petition. Finding no one that speak in favor, and I close that portion of the hearing. All those who speak in opposition of the petition, in opposition. Finding nobody speaking in opposition, I close that part of the hearing, and I'll entertain questions from the board.
Here we go.
Yep.
Do you have an outside cafe with this?
I'm sorry?
Is there an outside cafe?
Yes, there is.
There is.
That's part of the license, and the outside cafe.
Do you have a current drawing?
I don't know that there's a current drawing with the drawing that we submitted.
Okay.
The outside cafe is, if the commission approves that part of the license in its transfer, the outside cafe is subject to a license agreement which was approved by the council It's currently in effect with the current owners. It will have to be renewed and executed by the city manager.
Yeah, but that's true, but you would want the liquor license to include that area.
That is correct, and that's what's sought
Okay.
in the application.
How's the,
It's all set, you got
It's all set?
information about the quarry, okay.
how many times has the police been over? They had problems blocking the sidewalk or anything like that, do you know of? You're not familiar with any problems down there? Good. That's what we like to hear.
I can remember we
Unless
had,
you know
we had
of
one
them.
issue with the tables out there blocking part of the sidewalk, but I think we resolved that some time ago. So,
You're gonna leave the you're gonna alter I noticed that, okay. You're gonna alter the outside of it. Can you tell me what you're gonna do to it? I thought that facade was kinda continuous, that whole block.
Yes, Mr. Doyle, who is with me, has spoken with the Historical Commission. They have suggested some changes that they would like to see done, and he has indicated that he would like to cooperate with them and effectuate the changes that they want to achieve their harmonious aesthetic vision for facades in that area.
Okay. All right, the only other question I have is, what is his experience with alcohol?
He has none. He is hiring staff people who are experienced with it. He has a woman who's going to be working for him. This is Sue Ellen Lawrenson. She has experience in the past. She is going to be the point person. She's going to be organizing the employees. He's going to be implementing the standards with regard to employee conduct insofar as complying with the law is concerned.
Okay, what is, Sue, what is your experience with alcohol, please?
I have the last 5 years as a bartender, the past 2 years actually as a manager of the Tewksbury Wilmington Elks, running their private club and their public function halls.
Okay, and where do you live, please?
I live in Drake.
In Drake?
Right.
Okay. The license, you're going to be the manager of or who's going to be the manager of record?
Mr. Doyle is listed as
He
the
is.
manager of record. Assuming everything goes forward, I anticipate that she will be ultimately named as the manager, and if so, we'll come in for the application to amend that.
Okay. That's all I got.
Commissioner, anything?
No, I have nothing.
All right, looking over, the application seems to be in order and complete.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, looking over, I've heard the petition. I like to see investment in the city, and I think this is a part of that, and it's a tough business. I think you understand that. It's a tough business to go forward on, but, you know, you've got help in this board. As long as you follow our rules and regulations, we're always going to be there to help you. And they're not overbearing, you know, it's a pretty friendly board, it's a pretty proactive board, and like I said, the police officers are there for any problems you might have, and don't hesitate to call them. That's part of their duty, and I think that, you know, that's a part of their duty they don't mind doing to keep the peace, making sure the businesses are in compliance with everything, and making sure the residents understand, you know, the interaction that's going to happen between a business and the residents down in the downtown area. So I'm going to wish you luck. I'm going to make a motion to approve the petition.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good luck.
Thank you
Okay,
so
this
much.
has to get approval down in Boston, and until that time, it stays the status quo until
I
it's approved out
understand.
in Boston.
Thank you for your courtesies and consideration.
It's Chili's Grill. Where's Chili's Grill?
Can we just talk about that?
This was,
Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
yeah, this was actually put on just a few.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
The manager that's presently approved it, named Amy.
Mm-hmm.
She was approved several years ago.
Yeah.
Under the Breaker corporate name.
Yep.
She is being retained as the manager of Pepper Dining.
Okay.
No, okay, so no real name.
So it's, yeah.
Okay. Okay, all right. Okay.
It's an easy one.
For them, okay. All right. Call it up.
Commission will now open the second hearing, and this is a hearing on a transfer of the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant license.
Okay. We'll put it down the agenda. Next to the agenda. Okay. Mm-hmm, okay. No, see, we got it. Go get it. Probably doesn't have it. Yeah. Must have been something come up on it. 16. What we got?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the delay. Commission will now proceed as the agenda has it stated. This commission will now open the hearing on a transfer of the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant license from Brinker, Massachusetts Corporation, doing business as Chili's Grill and Bar, Brian McCrory, Treasurer, to a corporation known as Pepper Dining, Inc., Paul A. Rubin, Director. Premises is at 22 Reese Avenue. 3 unnumbered doors for egress, approximately 5,600 square feet. There's a first floor, a dining room, a bar area, service area, kitchen, cooler, freezer area, and office. It is requested that the current manager of record for Brinker, Massachusetts Corporation, Janine Omi, be approved as the manager for Pepper Dining, Inc. Mr. Chairman, this matter is a statewide transaction where Pepper Dining, Inc. is buying all the holdings of the corporation known as Brinker, Massachusetts Corporation. Presently, there are 21 restaurants in Massachusetts licensed under the Chili's business name, and this matter will continue as Chili's, but it's a different corporation. And Janine Omi is here to speak on the matter.
Thank you. Could you just identify yourself for the record, please?
Janine Omi, Chili's Grill and Bar, Lowell.
Great. We've gone over a little bit of it before you came up here, and it just seems to be a corporate matter in terms of buying certain holdings, certain corporation buying
Yes.
certain holdings that it has as it's currently held. We updated you in terms of your visibility in the community, and everything seems to be in order. And nothing's changed in terms of the operation of the business?
Nothing at all will
Nothing
change.
at all? Still
No.
gonna, and we haven't been called down there for anything? Okay. I see that Holland and Knight, the law firm down in Boston, looks like they've made their money here, and they're not here today, so I'll just entertain, it's a public hearing, so I'm gonna open it up to anybody that wishes to speak in favor of the petition. Anyone in favor of the petition? Seeing no one speaking in favor of the petition, I'll close that portion of the hearing. Anybody wish to speak in opposition to the petition? Opposition to the petition? Seeing nobody speaking in opposition to the petition, I'll close that part of the hearing and I'll open up to Councilor Bayless, Commissioner Bayless, sorry, for any questions.
Be careful. I've been called worse things. How come there's no more crab cakes?
See, you didn't think you'd get
You
tough
come-
questions.
There's a question for you. How come?
But I'll make you some fresh stuff.
That was the
just
best
for you.
restaurant in the area. Went there one night with my wife. They took it off the menu. I said, whoa. Oh. Is there anything in this agreement, you being aware of the sale? You're aware of the business being sold?
Yes, we're all
Okay.
aware.
I think the board would want to say to you, as the manager of record, is there anything in the new management or that you don't like, that you don't feel comfortable with? You've
No.
obviously run a good operation. I mean, you go, you know, I keep this fee, I don't pass many restaurants, but that being said, you obviously are very successful in that area. The parking lot is usually pretty packed. I think that's the question that I'd like to ask you. Is there anything there that they're doing or going to start doing that you don't feel comfortable with? Because ultimately, you know, everybody looks to you for the, you know, running the operation.
Well, ultimately, being responsible, I've listened to all the policy changeovers, and everything is running very much the same. We're keeping the same staff. We have the same management team, even our area directors and our regional directors staying the same. So all of the policies, everything is going to go, just Chili's is going to continue running like it was.
So there's just going to be a different name on the
Exactly.
corporate check?
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. I like, that's good.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
All right, thank you. Commissioner, anything?
I'll make the motion to grant the transfer.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you,
This has
gentlemen.
got to get approval down in Boston, and you just have to wait along for that.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda.
Okay. That one? Okay.
You've got one too? I gotta go get one of those. I gotta talk to Ryan about that.
I was taken back by the crowd.
Yeah. I figured once that was out, I didn't
Commission will now open the hearing on an application for the original malt beverage and wine only restaurant license by Kyoto Japanese Inc., doing business as at Sogo Sushi and Asian Cuisine, Stephen Lin, President, premises at 16 Merrimack Street, an unnumbered door on the south side for egress, first floor dining room and sushi bar, a service area, a kitchen, cooler, freezer area, and office. It is requested that Stephen Lin be approved as the manager of record for Kyoto Japanese Inc. The license for common victular was issued to Kyoto on May 17, 2007, after the health department reported a satisfactory inspection. And Kyoto Japanese Inc. has filed for entertainment license for jukebox only.
Identify yourself for the record, please.
Mr. Chairman, board members, my name is Peter Lim. I'm an attorney in Boston. Here representing Kyoto Japanese Inc. To my right is Mr. Stephen Lin, the principal owner and the proposed manager.
Okay. Counsel, I see there was a couple of things that were given to the commission just a minute ago, okay?
Right.
One of those is a background information check. We're not going to be able to do that, obviously, so what we're going to do is I opened up the hearing for you, Counsel, and also there's a matter of an affidavit that we have for the
Right.
mailing. I can't go forward with that at this point because it just may create more work for us in the long run if somebody were to challenge a petition at a later date. So we like to have all the information up beforehand. So we're gonna give you an opportunity to come current with it, if you would.
Sure.
And I'm gonna entertain a motion from the board to continue the matter to our next meeting in 2 weeks, I believe would be sufficient amount of time, if it's all right with your schedule.
That'll be fine. Should I resend the notices, new notices, or?
You should send the green cards along with the affidavit saying that the previous.
No, I mean, do I need to resend new ones to the abutters?
No, you don't have to send, you don't have to re-notify them, no. No, we just need to show that they've been notified,
That'll be fine.
okay?
Thank you.
All right. So we're on for the date, well, let me entertain a motion first. Hold on, please. Motion made, seconded, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. The next date would be June 14th, council, okay?
All right.
Does that fit your schedule?
That'll be fine.
Okay, we'll see you there. And if you want to fax that up to Ryan beforehand, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
That way they can hear me.
I wasn't having a hard
This
time
is too
hearing.
much. Yeah. Okay. All the restaurants open?
Okay.
It's just too much to handle.
You get it. It's a great life if you don't make it.
Next on the agenda, please.
Mr. Chairman, this is just a matter to do with upcoming summer upcoming summer events in the downtown area.
Yeah.
And this would be a discussion which would allow the retail and restaurant owners downtown who may consider applying for outdoor licenses. Those outdoor licenses have been for special one-day alcohol license, amplification of a sound permit, sidewalk stand permit. The specific upcoming event would be the Lowell Folk Festival in 2007, but there will be also possibly other summer events, such as maybe a possible street closing or two in the Central Business District. And this, Mr. Chairman, would be an opportunity for anyone who may wish to bring back the past if they wish, or to try to make recommendations for upcoming events.
Okay. So I'll open up the bag. Anybody wish to speak on this part of the agenda? Anybody wish to speak on this part of the agenda? Seeing nobody, I'll, hold on.
This is just for the Folk Fest or other?
Anything, any,
You know, Mr. Chairman, Captain Staveley's here from the police department. He's
Okay.
the commanding officer of the East Sector, which incorporates downtown.
Okay.
And he's here specifically for this reason.
Okay, good.
Okay. August 11th, we're going to try to do the Basher ride again, which we did last year.
yeah,
For Lieutenant Brian Ash, passed away a couple of years ago now.
okay, yeah.
We have the special event permit from Andy, and we just want to make sure before we go ahead and book all the bands and the barricades and all that stuff, that it's going to be okay with you people, that we do.
Well, like I said, we kind of answer stuff that's in a petition, but didn't you do that last year?
Yeah, it's going to be the exact same setup as last year.
Okay, all right. And I don't remember recall any incidents that any problems from that. I think it went pretty smoothly. Nothing. Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, they still have to put in the form of petition, have to petition for the license, but I can't foresee.
No, I just, last year when we wanted to do kind of things one step at a time.
Yeah.
You don't want to give me something now for August. I just wanted to kind of throw it out there to make sure before I
Yeah,
start ordering
understand that,
everything.
yeah. It happened before, but, you know, we got the heads up on it, and I don't think it's ever too early to put a request for a license in, Ryan. I don't know, you know?
No, in fact, it's never too early. It's just I think at the point, there are several people here I recognize who have business in the downtown area who last year had outdoor activities that were permits, licensed, street closing, Merrimack Street. Specific to the Folk Festival, Merrimack Street, the upper part of Merrimack Street from John Street up to Dutton, as well as Middle Street, Palmer Street, part of a portion of Market Street from Shattuck down to Palmer. Those are areas where the streets had been shut off to motor vehicle traffic. This was to allow some of the local businesses to have requests for special one-day licenses. After the folk festival entertainment portion had ceased, usually the music at there are about 3 or 4 venues or more, like about maybe as many as half a dozen venues where the folk festival has performers set up. And all of that music activity usually ends around 6 p.m., starting, usually will start Friday evening at 6 p.m. till about 10 at the Boarding House Park. Saturday, it'll start from noontime to 6, and also Sunday from noontime to 6. The businesses will try to create an atmosphere for the visitors that they may be able to select some of their retail items from, say, a sidewalk stand. Some of the business with restaurants will like to offer more alcohol beverages, since there's limited space indoors for these restaurants to accommodate all of the people that will be coming into Lowell. They're having the opportunity to set up an outside area that's an enclosed area. In the past, there have been some minor issues that have developed from that, which may have been of some concern to the Lowell Police Department, such as pedestrian right-of-way, maybe the amplification matter with several local businesses being so close in proximity to one another could interfere with the public's general enjoyment of the entertainment, and also the idea of those visitors who are looking to have a beer or two have to understand, and it's incumbent upon the business owners, the licensees, to make sure that those particular patrons are not wandering off with their beer in hand outside of the enclosed area. And obviously the Lowell Police would be monitoring that situation minute by minute. It's just a question is, are there any issues that the local police should be aware of, that the restaurants want to make them aware of? Is there anything that the local businesses might be looking to add to what they may have had last year?
I'm looking here at the Lowell Folk Festival, the guide for businesses. Is that something that we send out to business owners? How do they get their hands on it?
Well, that was
last year
with the special events coordinator and Sue Damari, the downtown coordinator last year, had put together, and also had a letter to the board itself, to the License Commission, regarding their recommendation on hours for which would be applicable to all of the businesses. It wouldn't be just singling out one business.
Yeah. Is that something going to be doing again in terms of 2007? Do you know?
Well, I think Andy St. Onge may want to comment on that.
Okay.
He's here with us.
Andy St. Onge, Special Events Coordinator. I believe Chris Samaras, the Downtown Coordinator, will facilitate this like as Susan Damari did last year.
Okay.
All right.
So it's just a matter like dropping these off for all the businesses and...
Yes, excuse me.
Go
I'm
ahead.
actually in the process of putting it together. I want to have it in the mail by next week, actually.
All right, good.
That's sort of like a folk festival for dummies.
Yeah,
Handbook.
yeah. Now,
Walks you
did
right
you
through
find
it.
it useful last year and effective?
Very effective.
Okay, good, yeah.
Very
Looks like
effective.
a good idea, you know?
Should we establish a cutoff date? By that I mean, the Folk Festival is July 28th. Should we establish a cutoff date and say, anyone who hasn't applied for a liquor license, a sidewalk license, a sound, or whatever, there'll be no further licenses granted after June 30th? We end up, every year, it seems that somebody's running in the door at the last minute. Oh, you know, and now you got one band around the corner and one band over here. And if we established a date and said right now that any licenses concerned with the folk festival, the cutoff date is the end of June, and there's going to be no other licenses granted after that with the festival. Those are the people that, you know, it always seems to me, as a layman, the police chief has a meeting, Ray was there. He asked the bar owners and people, downtown residents, to come in. and he gives his time and he gives the police department's time. You know, I sat there, and you don't see the troublemakers. They don't show up. They don't show up at the meeting. It's all the people that are struggling to try to survive. They're here at the meeting, you know, yes, no, yes, no. The people that are here before us for complaints, they aren't there at the meeting. Right now, I mean, I don't know how the word got out about this, and I'm not trying to judge anybody at this point, but this is May. If we gave them the whole month of June, you have to have your application in by the end of June, whether it be a sidewalk stand, a beer light, whatever it is. And then after that, we're not, at the last minute trying to jam somebody through, and somebody else comes walking in and says, gee, I had a stand there, now they want to put a ban there. It gives the police department a better feel for what's going to happen. I mean, anybody that's going to do that, 4 weeks out, is going to have an idea of what they're going to sell and what they're going to, want to do. I don't think you're going to have a major change.
Mr. Commissioner, we did run into that last year, if you recall.
What?
We had an incident on Middle Street where they were side by side.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I like to,
Alleviate.
If we can kind of stress to the businesses to get that application in as early as possible, so in case we run into that problem, we're not, the next day problem kind of thing, we can resolve it, because that got resolved, as I recall.
Yeah.
That got resolved because I ended up talking one of them into moving into Mac Plaza.
Yeah.
Right, but then on the other hand, there was a store that was empty next door to one of the stores that the owner had made arrangements to use the front of the other guy's building,
Correct.
Remember?
Correct.
And that ended up, we didn't know about it until the last
That's right.
minute.
Yeah.
And I think the police, rightfully so, said, you're blocking the whole, you can't do that. And they said, oh, no, we got a permit for this. Well, nobody here knew that they had gotten a permit to use the front of another building.
I think it's very advantageous to the commission to know ahead of
Yeah,
time,
and
as early as possible.
maybe in terms of when you're passing out, just kind of stress to them, listen, get them in within 30 days, so we can handle any conflicts that may arise,
Right.
So kind of stress that if we could.
Actually, I have a question for the captain. I mean, how much time do you need? I mean, I know that we have commission hearings as late as July 26th, 2 days before the kickoff of the festival. I mean, how much time do you realistically need, though, to plan how many officers you're going to have when and where? I mean, I know you probably don't want us changing things 2 days before the start.
And they have come in that late, as these commissioners can attest. They have come in
I think that is
days
Commissioner
before.
Bayless's concern. We don't want people coming in that late.
Sir, it would be advantageous to us to have at least a 2-week notice so that we could appropriately plan and hire those officers to come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
We kind of have a cookie-cutter version of the folk festival that we use, but if we find an area is going to be greatly impacted by more venues than before, we need to address that. So a 2-week notice would be best, and Mr. Bayless's suggestion of
I think if we can get everybody focused on the end of the month, the end of June, that way we can work out any kinks that we may have and get everything in place.
Did you want me to give a specific date on the guideline?
Yeah, give them a June 30th date,
They can file June 30th, and then if anything that's in by June 30th, we could hear at the first meeting in July, and that would be the end of it, right there. And everybody have more than enough, not only that, dumping it on the secretary. I mean, he's a one-man, the guy works miracles, and I'm not saying that being a wise guy, but everybody's in his office screaming at him, wanting their permits and wanting... He needs some time, too. So I don't think that's being unreasonable.
Okay, well, just if I may add one thing to this. The whole key to this whole thing is obviously the city wants to make this a user-friendly, as you might say, Mr. Commissioner. The thing is, insurance is the key to any of this outdoor activity for the city to be protected. And obviously, some of the businesses may have policies, liability insurance. All they need to do is, I guess, contact their insurance agent to ask that the city be added to that policy for several days, which may be a little bit of an increase on their monthly payment or whatever that might be. But the city would be looking for a minimum of $500,000 so that the city could have the knowledge that, and I would have requested I have record of that, so in conjunction with that application, so that the board could act and feel confident that they're acting properly and that the city is not being held in a hostage situation at a later date. The thing is, a meeting in July 12th is the first meeting of the 2 meetings scheduled, which is right after the 4th of July. The next meeting of the board in July would be July the 26th, which is the Thursday. The Friday evening is, the following day is the beginning of the Folk Festival. I don't think it would be fair to the board, obviously, and it wouldn't be fair to the Lowell Police and to the other city officials to have people coming in and anticipating getting a license on July the 26th.
Right. Okay, so if I made a motion that all licenses, whether they be outdoor sales, music, sound, beer, all licenses concerned with the Folk Festival must be applied for by June 30th. We might hear some of them in the first meeting in July, but the application, the insurance in the amount of, what'd you say, $500,000? A half?
Yeah.
Including proof of insurance up to $500,000, be presented to the licensing office or the applicant, presenting to the licensing, June 30th is the cutoff date. So then the first meeting in July would be the last of them that we would hear. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I wouldn't have no problem.
We don't want to have everybody on for the 12th either, so I mean, you can obviously apply before that June 30th date, you know?
Well, our next two meetings will be the June 14th and June 28th.
Right.
And then July the 12th.
You know, if somebody's around the corner, now, you know, I can only speak for myself, and I think that, what's your name?
Andy St. Ange.
Andy, I think Andy did a good job. You had two
okay, I'm
people.
new.
Hey, listen, when you get, Benjamin, don't worry about it. When you get my age, but Andy, I think what has to stand for a lot would be, if you had two venues, one on top of the other, okay, as you did, you were lucky enough to be able to move one. But they need to know that if you do have two, the first application in is going to be the first considered. It has to be. That's only fair, you know? So I think that's an encouragement to everybody to get it in, you know? It's just that simple, and I think we can do a nice job and still give them plenty of time. Andy?
No, that's not, I think that motion's very fair. What happened in regards to that Middle Street incident was one of the establishments came in very early, and the other one came in at the last minute.
Right.
They were over a month apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and that's what happened, and ended up they were side by side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But we were lucky enough to
be able to move it, but you might end up with a case where you can't move it.
But they were both holding licenses.
Yep.
Yep.
But we were just fortunate enough to move it.
Okay. Captain, anything else in terms of,
With respect to the Folks Festival in particular, no, sir. If we have an opportunity to speak on outdoor activities in general, that would be helpful.
okay. All right.
Well, one of the things, too, I think that we ended up with, Mike brought up the last time, was the licenses. Making sure that they have their license posted where the police department can see it, not have to be asking for it. That was a very important thing last year that seemed to solve a lot of problems, was telling them you have to have your permit and your license posted where the police can see it.
Even the retail.
Even the retail, if they're outside, they should have it posted that they got a permit. And it just save everybody a lot of hassle. Why should the police department have to say, well, where is, oh, he took it home? Hey.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Okay, so if I understand the motion, as Commissioner Bayless has stated it, that anyone looking to apply either for a one-day license for the outside activity, specifically to do with the Folk Festival,
Yeah.
and to do with anything to do with sidewalk stand or amplification permits, their application should be filed with the License Commission Office before, up to June 30th, 2007, in order that they may be on the agenda for the next meeting, which would be July the 14th. Now, if they file their intent, if I can just speculate a little bit down the road, if they file their intent by, say, calling the office and say, gee, Ryan, can you put me on the agenda for the July 14th meeting? Somebody that's may have done this activity in 2006, and they'll say, I'll get you the paperwork, I'll get you that policy you're looking for.
No. Application in hand in the office by June 30th. I mean, that's the way I want the thing to read. Application in hand with a copy of the insurance certificate in the office. That's putting you in the middle. You put somebody down, they're going, I called you. No, you didn't call me. Oh, yes, I did. Well, why didn't you call and remind me? No. Applicant, this is a moneymaker for them. I'm not trying to be difficult about it or anything. It's a moneymaker for everybody that's there. And those people that play by the rules should be the ones that make the money.
Yeah, let's keep if the application's got to be in there, okay? I'll second Commissioner's motion.
And Mr. Samaras will put that in his material here.
Yeah, definitely put that in the material. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed. Motion passes.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Try to streamline it as best we can.
I guess I'll turn it over to the captain for concerns about other outdoors.
Yeah. Anything else, Captain, in terms of,
Just some of the concerns that have come mostly from the downtown residents with respect to the outdoor activities during the summer, the warmer period. There's a lot of concern with respect to pedestrian right-of-ways, as Mr. Nguyen alluded to, the hours of the music, the amplification of the music, open doors with amplified music inside and all that sort of thing. And I think we're really looking for some assistance and some direction as to deal with these problems, and anything that you could offer in way of regulations attached to licenses. We would like to have copies of all outdoor cafe licenses with any diagram they may have, so that we're sure that they're operating on the same book and page as we are, as we go and inspect these places downtown during the times of the warmer weather and the loud outdoor activities, and we'd like to address that. Maybe even something as simple as some sort of control on smoking areas. Things are flowing outside of restaurants, not so much for the drinking or the consumption of food. It's just the patrons going out in a back alley, leaving a doorway open that abuts a brand-new condo development. Things like that, we might want to consider having some sort of regulation on, so that let their climate control system bear the brunt of keeping the place cool, as opposed to having the open doors.
yeah, okay, all right. Again, I think, I agree with you. I think when we entertain the license petitions, I think we should focus on those elements that you're talking about in terms of, controlling your area, but most especially controlling your area outside. And I think we should stress that as well to the licensed petitioners, and we'll do that. And I think it's a good idea in terms of forwarding the license to your office, and along with the diagram about where they should be and where they can be and where they can't go. And again, we'll stress from this board's element about, and I've done since day one about it's a mixed community down there. It's residents in this business, and we all got to get along.
Right.
And they have a responsibility, and their responsibilities. We'll make sure that they understand that, and we'll make sure that they're going to live up to that responsibility. All they have to deal with the consequences of this board. So.
Right, I think what the neighbors are looking for is good neighbors in the downtown area.
Yeah.
And in addition to the license, the general license for outside, all of the folk festival licenses, we'd like to have copies of those for our operations plan, so that should something not be posted, should there be a question, we have a
We'll have it
reference right there
Okay.
for us.
Okay, thank you.
Let me ask, did you have a request? I know earlier you talked about posting. When we take up those outdoor licenses for the folk festival, are you going to have a specific request as to a requirement that we put a location where these have to be posted so that they're easily visible?
It should
by
be
patrol?
closest to the point of sale of the alcohol, or the cash register, or
Right near the
whatever.
cash register.
That's where everybody's
Nobody
going to be
missed
looking
that.
at.
Yeah. All right.
I find myself, it's interesting you say about that, because a lot of people are going outdoors, but, and not in defense of the bar rooms or anything like that. I don't want anybody throwing stones at me or anything like that, but a lot of times they just don't think, okay? And I give you, I'm going to use an example. Up in Couple Square, the Highland Tap, it's had its problem. the back door of the Highland Tap opens up on a piece of property, and it's not very far. Nice family bought the house, you know? And the family stopped me one day and said, you know, they're in there, and they got the, and it's, you know, they have it open to keep it cool in the bar room, you know? And I stopped and talked to the guy, and I gotta commend him. You know, I said, you know, these people got a little baby, and they're trying to get the baby to sleep at night, and you guys open it. He says, they go out there to smoke. I said, make them go out in the street and put a cigarette butt can there, because they're going out in the back and they're waking up the baby. And it's driving these people crazy, and they got a right to live too. And I mean, if you ever went behind a Highland Tap, you could stand at the back door of the Highland Tap and touch the house behind just like that, you know? And they've been very, very good about it. I've seen the guy a couple of times and said, you know, they're all right. Oh, yeah, you know. So, I mean, I think sometimes we have to, the owners aren't thinking, and the patrons open the door and never think to shut it. So you got to say to something, maybe you ought to put a door closer on that door so it does close or something, you know. Sometimes it's just not thinking.
All right, thank you.
Where did I have my agenda? Oh, please, thank you. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Bond, Brian Bond, is the manager of Bond Properties Limited Liability Company. He is requesting to speak before you today. He is property owner for premises at 147 Cambridge Street, and presently there is a licensee, a Class II licensee. There are two brothers, Johnny Gonzalez and Jose Gonzalez, doing business as JG Auto Sales, and they have a Class II license, and the number is 716-B. And apparently, based on what Mr. Bond has said, and I have had conversation with the Gonzalez brothers on the telephone, and one of the brothers came to the office, that they have vacated the premises. However, their license is in, as far as, other than the fact that they vacated the premises, is in good standing with the License Commission. They have the bond, $25,000 bond, and from what I understand is their lease is still valid till the end of July.
Okay. Identify yourself for the record, please.
My name is Brian Bond. I'm property owner of 147 Cambridge Street. It is correct, I did release a space to the Gonzalez brothers for the purpose of selling cars.
Yeah.
They had a tough time at selling cars down there, and they were looking to sell the business or the license, and they've tried with several different people to sell it. They believed they had a sale that was going to go through, and it fell through at the last minute. At that time, I just happened to show up at the property, and I seen them ripping out equipment off the roof. I stopped over to see them, what was going on. They explained to me that the deal fell through, and that they were moving out of the space, and they weren't going to pay the rent. And they have since moved out. At that time, I had called the police because I asked the gentleman to get off the roof. In the police report, it does state that they were moving out of the unit, and they have since abandoned it. And what I'm looking for is to have their license removed from the property so I can lease it to a new tenant.
Any questions, Commissioner? Commissioner Bayless?
I don't know what is the,
Want us through on the license?
can you,
I mean,
I mean, we've never acted as a bill collection. Tell me.
In front of you is the papers. Certainly, Brian Bond has a letter addressed to the License Commission office. Also, the application by the Gonzalez brothers, part of the signed bond to show that they have access to the premises to July 31. Brian Bond has also, I have a copy of another lease that he has apparently executed with another individual who is interested in the same premises, and that lease, I believe, takes effect. If not, it's already in effect. It should take effect the end of June. The thing is, the brothers are, they've not made any...
They called you and said they moved out, they abandoned the property? Is that the situation?
They've apparently, from their side of the story, they may feel that there's some issue that they have to take up with Mr. Brian Bond, that would not fall in before the License Commission. From Mr. Bond's perspective, the fact that they have vacated the premises and not have paid him could be cause for the License Commission to consider the application, the license itself, as being in violation of the local regulation. And the question is, it's just a matter of...
I mean, it's just because it was abandoned.
And I have every reason to think that they have, Mr. Brian Bond has provided a copy of a police report. The officer who came to the premises, apparently Mr. Bond had concern about some work being done on the roof of the building, and the officer arrived to determine if there was in fact some illegal activity taking place, but one of the Gonzalez brothers informed the officer that they were removing some security system that they had paid to have in place on their rental property. So the issue is now that it's certainly clear from my understanding of the situation, that the brothers have vacated the premises. The question is, does the License Commission want to entertain Mr. Bond's request that the board, if not allow the current licensee to relocate the license, cancel out the license? Otherwise, the prospective new tenant cannot apply for a license, as you well know. You can't have two licensees at the same location.
I mean, go get the letter, see what, give Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's the whole question, is if they abandoned the lease property, then can the license just stay there? I mean, that's the kind of question I have, is...
It seems that there are two issues. One is landlord-tenant, which you would not be involved with.
Right.
The issue is whether or not, essentially, to revoke or cancel their license. The simplest thing would be to put it on for a hearing. If they have abandoned it and have no interest in it, they could certainly just turn in the license. Otherwise, you just want to show that, look, you gave them notice to be here this day, you're going to address this fact.
I think the very least we should do that, yeah.
How long, can I ask you, have they been out of there?
It was, basically, come the first of the month, I would start looking for the rent, and...
How many months have they been in arrears?
They're not. They were, even though they weren't doing any business down there, they've always paid their rent, and they paid it on time. There wasn't an issue there. There was some personality issues between them and I, which is fine.
So are they current with their rent now?
No, they're not current now.
So they're 1 month behind?
Correct. Basically, I think it was May 2nd, when I seen them, they said, we're not paying the rent, we're moving out, take me to court. And,
Yeah.
Like I said, if we're gonna do anything with the license, we gotta have them here.
Yeah.
So,
I make a motion, we get them in.
I'll second that motion. Motion made, second, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're gonna set it up for a hearing.
Get them in.
June the 14th?
June the 14th, all right?
June 14th?
June 14th, we'll send a letter out and tell them some papers.
Certified mail.
Okay. All right. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Just the record, I'll make copies of this. Mr. Chairman, Brian Leahy, the Assistant City Solicitor, is here, as you know, and he's has some matters he wants to express to you about a pawnbroker regulation.
All right. Attorney Leahy.
I'm not exactly sure why the letter got addressed to me, but once it came in...
Rabble rouser.
I brought it to the License Commission. I did speak with Mr. McNamara and explained that I would bring the letter to the License Commission. In the letter, they want an answer by... This is a letter that was received May 18th. They want an answer by May 29th. I explained that any regulation would have to go up for a hearing. It would have to be noticed by the License Commission. I said I would represent that, but that there was no way that we would have, or there was no way possible to actually have the rate increase that they want by May 29th.
Yeah.
But at this point, this goes back to what we had previously gone back on. I think it was the spring of 2005 where this License Commission had a hearing, set the rate at 5% for any interest or for any loan. It then went, we had a hearing, I think, in the fall of 2005 before the Division of Banks.
Yeah.
In the spring of '06, they issued a ruling saying that it did not meet their approval.
Yeah.
And that was the last we heard until
No
this...
surprise.
No.
Yeah.
No surprise. And then there was nothing until we got this letter, which essentially says, do 3% per month. If you do anything else, we want, detailed financial documentation, rate and statistical or policy basis used for determination of the monthly rate. And they also want the commission to get the rates charged by pawnbrokers of surrounding communities.
I don't like the fact that they, what they propose to do and what they're doing, but to me, from a practical approach, we have 2 pawnbrokers in the city. I don't see where it's practical for us, for the city, to utilize your resources for that information. You know what I'm saying? I think you could give them the tablets that the 10 Commandments came down, Brian, and they still say, not good enough. I mean, that's the sense I get. So, we're spinning our wheels in the thing. It's the city's resources, I think it's a legislative thing for, for Boston. If these pawnbrokers, they got to get together and change something up at Beacon Hill. I think that's the realm to go, But I just think we could go through what they're looking for. We could do everything that in line with it. But I know the score. I think we all know the score. They're not going to come off the 3%. They never will. There's a mandate from them, and that's what it's going to be. So it could be on the tablets, there could be the burning bush up the top of the hill, and they're coming down with the big voice vibrating, and we got everything that you need. Oh, no, not good enough. And I can't see that as a practical thing to do for the city.
I don't believe they've approved anything more than 3% per month.
I don't believe they ever will.
So at this point, the License Commission's rate is at 5%. Previously, you'd set it up for a meeting where you said that you would determine the rate and there was no rate set. I think the License Commission has to set up a new hearing as to what the rate is and whether you set it, if the proposed rate is 3% or anything, or let the 2 pawnbrokers come in with every information.
I think you're right. I think we should set it up for yet another hearing, and from my perspective, I'm going to tell them what I just told you, But, like I said, we'll set it up for a public hearing. I think that's what they need, that's what we'll do, and we'll get them back in here again.
We can have the meeting in November of 2010. Hey, put it on the books, it satisfy them, send them that we've notified them we're having a meeting. 2000. Look, this is crazy. There's 2 people in the city. I agree with the chairman. There's only 2 brokers in the city. Okay? 2. What's prime at the bank right now? 8 3/4. These guys are all thieves. Okay? They're thieves. And here's a guy taking a risk. If they know so much about banking, they wouldn't be working for the state. They'd be a banker. Okay? And they'd be making millions. But they don't know anything about it. They'd rather tell people how to do it than work at it themselves, all right? 5% is not unreasonable. These are high risk, and they're not mortgages. They're not mortgages we're talking about. And if these people, if there wasn't a need, they wouldn't be in business. So, as a private businessman, I can't sit here and say to somebody else, this is what you should charge. And you can take all the risk, and you can take all the losses, and all the aggravation, and, pictures, and running this stuff down the police department, and everything. It's crazy by the time you get through. Have a hearing and have these people justify their 5%, and let them, the 2 of these, bury these people in paperwork. We don't need to do it. But I don't think, on the other hand, we should just throw our hands up and say, oh, whatever we do, they're not going to listen to us. Let the bureaucracy run its course. You just keep filing paperwork with them from now until eternity.
I am just the messenger. I'm just relaying the letter that
Okay.
I received.
And I'm just saying, I understand the letter. If the state feels at 3%, then the state should pass a regulation that says it's 3% and nobody can charge any more, and then the police can go out and arrest these guys and put them in jail. And they can take up the business.
I would just point out that I know that as far as your scheduling, I know June 14th, there's a at least one hearing of police misconduct, and then the next two meetings, you're probably going to be dealing with
The folk festival stuff.
So I would just point that out, that this may take
Yeah.
a little bit of time, so you may want to do it after the
Yeah, I
folk
think
festival.
Put it on for the
agree with you,
first
yeah.
August meeting, maybe?
Yeah. All right, we took a motion for
August
meeting, August
2010.
August 1st, 2007. Subject to a continuance.
First August meeting.
First August meeting? All right.
Though, Mr. Chairman, I have to,
Subject to a continuance.
the License Commission, there is no money available to use for the legal notice, if that be the case, if it's required of the
Well,
hearing.
then we can't do it.
The money that's, generally, when we deal with license applications, the money that comes in goes into an escrow account in the auditor, and that's set specifically for that particular application. It covers that cost. It's not uncommon for what the City License Commission requires of an applicant, where legal notice needs to be published, it's $175 to cover the
Okay.
expense of that legal. So that money comes in, goes from my office to the city treasurer's office, who in turn deposits it into one of the local banks. The city auditor's office gets record of that, and they record it as such, and it's set aside so that when the Lowell Sun, the local newspaper, sends the bill for the payment of the ad, the money in that, set aside in that escrow account, covers that cost. And generally, there is a little bit left over, but I don't think there's any way, shape, or form enough that would cover any kind of legal notice that the city may look to publish. So I wouldn't want to risk, because I know this happened about 2 years ago. I come to find out that what was thought to be a fair amount of money in the escrow account didn't exist.
Yeah.
It was just breaking even on every thing.
Well, then I just say we just, send it in and we hold it until we get the money.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not ours. We haven't got the money to make a public
I think we
notice.
should, our response to them is say, listen, we're in the process of setting up this for a public hearing. We're just looking to fund, how we can fund it.
Can you send us some money?
You know what I
And if
mean?
they're really serious, maybe they'll send us some money.
If you're asking me to send a letter explaining the fiscal condition facing the License Commission along with when it would be scheduled, I can certainly do that.
I think that would be a very good thing on your part. That'd be great. I don't think the taxpayers should have to pay for this.
Just tell them, don't kill the messenger.
I'm going to tell them the same thing, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
What the fee covers is like, we have these applications that were before you this afternoon.
Yeah.
All of them, because it was a public hearing and in compliance with state law under the Liquor Control Act, Chapter 138 General Laws, transfer of license application for a liquor license, application for a new license for a liquor license, requires that a legal notice be published in the local newspaper at the expense of the applicant. Now, I can remember back when the applicant would pay the fee after the bill was received by the city of Lowell, but that was not a...
That didn't work too
that
good.
wasn't particularly if the applicant was denied a license. So-
It's kind of like the lawyer getting his fee after if he loses the case.
So, just one point, so there is no date at this point?
No.
Setting, okay.
Just tell them what our process is.
We're looking into it.
What
We're gonna-
we're trying to conquer here.
We're
Okay.
going to put a committee together to study it.
By the way, the pawnbroker license is due for renewal effective May 1st. Now, only one of the two has filed renewal application, and that license was issued as a standard procedure of the office. All the
Is the other
paper.
guy closed?
Well, I'll have to check into that because it's a couple that I've been acquainted with through the office for several years now, and they had an attorney in the past representing their interest. I'm a little surprised that I haven't seen an application. So there may be something has changed I'm unaware of. I will follow that up.
You want a motion to have the department go out and check and see if
Well,
the store's open?
I can call and follow up
Yeah, just find out.
in the morning.
See if we're down
If not this
down
afternoon,
one.
tomorrow morning.
See if it's not something that got left on the desk and didn't get mailed.
Because it's not like them not to, because of the,
Okay.
the.
All right.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, we have a communication that's been pending, a matter of a complaint against the Kamara Restaurant, Inc. I just want to let the commission know that I've sent out notice of hearing to the licensee and legal counsel for the licensee
Right.
for a hearing to be held June the 14th. And I believe you also have a communication
I do.
And if I can make a copy of that, I'd appreciate it. That's,
that
if you want me to read that into the record, if you want, or you want to put this off to the next meeting.
Put it off for the next meeting.
Okay.
All set? Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. All those in favor say yes.
Yes. Coming home, Benjamin.
There you go. Some things will never change.
Good job, Michael.